Hello, ladies and gentlemen. More than likely going solo tonight. I can't imagine that Bob or Coltrane would show up here tonight. And God, I had debated on whether to do a show tonight. There was consideration that the Dallas Mavericks might be playing tonight, but they wrapped up early and defeating the Minnesota Timberwolves. So no NBA ball tonight. They're going to be off quite some time. And I got confused on when my personal appearance out in Carrollton was going to be, and then turned out I wasn't feeling all that great. So I postponed it for a couple of weeks. And then on top of that, we get the absolute horrible news that Carl Brown gave me today. He had contacted me with the absolute shocking news of my dear friend who... I won't say we chatted every day or every week, but we Instagrammed each other quite a bit, sending each other videos that we thought were humorous or entertained us. And he was my Instagram buddy. I only have 5 people I send videos to on Instagram, maybe 7. And he was one of them. Him and believe it or not, Morris. Morris, who made it to SmackDown courtesy of John Bradshaw Layfield and Vivacious Charles. I can't even tell you what Vivacious Charles' real name is because that's all I knew him as. I'll be telling some stories about him as we go on. And it's been a hard day. Because unfortunately, in the wrestling business, a lot of times the bad people can outweigh the good. You run into a lot of bad influences, negative people, people that will backstab, do any fucking thing to get on top. Morals go out the door. Ethics go out the door. And there's a lot of people in the wrestling business like that. And thank you for posting his full name there, Carl. And Charles was none of that. He was so funny. And as my son and a couple of others pointed out to me today, he said, Dad, he might not have been the best wrestler, but he might have been an OVW, one of the most loved. I have tried to reach out to Aaron the Idol Stevens and Mark Henry, who also, from what I was told, thought the world of Charles. And like I said, we didn't have phone calls a lot or even type messages each other a lot, but we were in each other's lives damn near every day on Instagram. And like I said, I only had 7 people, 7 or 8, if it's that many. My daughter-in-law is one of them. I'll find something I think she'll get a kick out of on, and I guarantee you, this man right here thought the world. I guarantee you, Vito Andretti. Once again, I thought I was going to get through this. I was wrong. And I'm glad to see that Vito and Joshua and there might be a few others drop in here as well. And I've been trying to tell some funny stories. Me and my son have been laughing about some of the funny stuff and that he would be involved in. And I once got yelled at. I once got yelled at on OVW TV. I don't remember if it was OVW TV. And I'm going to be crying a lot tonight, guys. So just fucking get over it. I'm only going to ask one time if any of y'all want to donate and help our Filipino families. I'm not going to sit on here and beg for it tonight. If you want to help, we appreciate it. I know Mylene needs to pay back the people she borrowed the 4,000 pesos from. It's about $80. Anybody wants to team up and help me do that, that's great. We're trying to get a couple of other projects taken care of for Ruby and her mother. We trying to get the electric turned on, and I paid half of the house. We're buying a house for $100. Yeah, we're buying a house for $100. There's Mylene. Mylene is the one that we're trying to raise the $80 for, so she can pay back the people that let her go see her kids for the first time in a couple of weeks. And so I'm not going to sit down here and beg for donations all night. If you can help out, we appreciate it. If you don't have the money, I understand. And I didn't even know how much we were going to talk about Vivacious tonight, but when I see Joshua in here, I was obviously going to mention it. It was the primary thing in my heading tonight to promote the show. And because I felt I owed it to him. I mean, he was a fucking good guy, a funny guy. He was a cop. He was a cop over in Southern Indiana. And I can't remember if it was Carl that told me the story. I think Carl told me the story, and I originally said I wasn't going to tell it because Vivacious used to get ribbed a little bit over it, but you know, it wasn't anything he could control. And I'm going to tell that story because you all know I've told the story about how close friends as kids me and Adrian Reynolds were, the guy that was killed by the Louisville Police Department. I don't know if they were Bullitt County cops, Louisville cops, or who they were, but it was I mean, sometimes you can look at a picture and say, well, that's a racist motherfucker. Well, when I saw the pictures of these two cops, that's kind of the vibe that was given off. And Adrian was a small man, as you're going to see a picture of him when he was a teenager. And he never got much bigger than that. And I'm going to show his picture in a little bit because it turns out, and in a roundabout way, Vivacious Charles, as a cop, had a play in this. And no, not as one of the ones that beat him to death. Quite the opposite. And so we're going to get into that in a little bit. I don't know. Fuck. I mean, you can find a shitload of people that say bad things about me, especially a few trolls. People say bad shit about Cornette or who the fuck ever. Danny Davis, just name the guy. But a couple of people come off the top of my head that you can't find anybody say anything bad about was Percy Pringle, Paul Bearer, and Vivacious Charles. Now I've had some people write me today and tell me that they didn't know Vivacious. Well, Vivacious didn't make a lot of the TV shows. I don't know how many he made. Maybe Vito or Joshua, or if Jebediah Blackhawk's watching tonight, or Nate Steele, if they're watching tonight, maybe they remember. But I think Nate kind of left probably around the time Charles was coming in. But the thing I got yelled at on OVW TV once about was I used to make fun of how long he'd been there and how long he'd been in the training class. And I remember one, and it hadn't been 9 years, but I remember and it was either a DCW TV taping or it might even been OVW. I don't know. I don't even know if he made any of the OVW TV shows. Maybe he did, but he'd been there a long time. And so we'll say it was DCW, and if it was OVW, somebody can correct me eventually. And but during the commentary, I had stated, I said, Vivacious Charles, a 9-year veteran of the Ohio Valley Wrestling School, and Danny Davis buzzed D. Neal and said, man, he says, you can't do that. He says, we don't want people thinking you have to go to school here for 9 years. And would make jokes that he wasn't very good. And God, he was just such a funny guy, and he always took everything in stride. He would make fun of himself. And I know most of y'all watching the show tonight don't have any fucking idea who he is, other than some of you that worked with him or saw him at the shows. And well, as y'all know, man, I'm not a religious guy at all. But as I said about Paul Bearer, if there is a heaven, and if there's a God, and if there's a pearly gates, if he ain't getting in, I don't know who the fuck is. Unless somebody knows something I don't know, him and Paul Bearer better be up there, is all I got to say. Let's see. Vito's got something to say here. I used to take him on road trips all over. Yeah, I'm sure he worked a lot of those fucking out of town shows because a lot of times we struggled to provide a roster. A lot of times we need a Cousin Crazy. Yeah. One time he thought Crazy had locked himself in the room, but Crazy was outside. And meditating. There you go. I'm sure he was doing plenty of the meditating. So the story that I think it was Carl that told me earlier is that my friend Adrian Reynolds, who I will say, once he and I separated and went our separate ways when I moved out of LaGrange, I was kind of his, I'd have to say, big brother, you know. I remember, and I hate to bring this up. Well, I don't hate to. I mean, it's a fact. It's what happened. I had to break up a fight between Jimmy Cornette and Adrian Reynolds to where Jimmy got mad that in a scuffle, as Jerry Jarrett would call it, Adrian Reynolds ripped Jimmy's brand new jeans. And Jimmy lost his fucking mind. And the only person I ever saw Jimmy willing to fight was little bitty Adrian Reynolds. And he chased Adrian down the street on Oldham County Day. I remember I didn't have air conditioning then. I had not won my air conditioner from Western Auto yet. I had a 25-inch console black and white TV to tell you how far back this goes. And Jimmy chased him down the street on Oldham County Day. And let's face it, Oldham County Day, there'd be thousands of people there. And probably 97, 98% white, if not higher. And he's chasing Adrian down the street, calling him the N-word. And I can hear him from my second floor apartment on Main Street. And I had to run down and go, you stupid, what the fuck are you doing? I said, that's my fucking friend. Yeah, he ripped my pants. Yeah. And Jimmy and I got into it big time that day. That as teenagers, if you want to know how far back that history goes, and he can deny it all the fuck he wants, he knows it's fucking true. And I'm going to, but that was where the racism first came in. And hey, I'm going to throw my mother under the bus too. My mother was upset the first time I let Adrian Reynolds in our apartment. Oh, Kenny, what are you doing? It's $90 a month. They have a better house than we have. You know, shut the fuck. And I was 15 or 16 by then. And I let black folks into my home. It's my fucking home too. I worked. I had a job at 16. And man, but that's kind of where it all started at. And Vivacious Charles, when Adrian got killed, and I'm going to say the Louisville Police Department, and if I'm wrong on that, somebody can feel free to correct me. Vivacious Charles was security at that hospital on the whatever floor Adrian was killed on. Vivacious Charles, and I'm going to say a hospital. Maybe Carl can correct me. But Vivacious Charles was supposed to be working, was off that night. And a lot of people gave him grief and ribbed him. Hey, if you'd have been there, you could have stopped this shit. And part of it was good fun ribbing. And maybe some people felt that way. Hey, if you'd have been there, because Vivacious Charles wouldn't let that shit gone down on his watch. And I'm going to keep calling him Vivacious Charles because that's what I fucking knew him as. My son told me today. He said, Dad, he meant so much to me that I would tell stories about Vivacious Charles in Istanbul, in Belfast, in Dublin, and just tell stories. And people go, God, I'd like to meet this guy. What a character. You know, so in our own way, we made Charles world famous by just telling stories to anybody that would listen about Charles. And the man's only 50 years old. His birthday is about to come up. And shit. He's 50. I found out he was going through a second round of cancer treatment, which I did not know about. Because he didn't talk about it. He didn't want to make our conversations about that. I knew he'd gone through some health issues, and I thought I'd heard that there was some cancer a while back. I did not know a second round had come up. And but he never wanted to make it about that shit. One of the most positive guys you would ever meet, and you hear people passing judgments about cops, and sometimes they're in it for the power and all this shit. Not him. That wasn't him. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks when Carl wrote me, because he was really the only one that smartened me up. He's the only one that told me. So I contacted as many as my OVW guys as I could. And most were shocked. Some say I never had the pleasure to work with him. And like I said, I don't know how many days he got on OVW TV, but he was an important part of that company and one of the good parts of that company. And out of all the people I can name that ever worked at Ohio Valley Wrestling, I can't name 5 more that were a better person than he was. I'd probably be hard pressed to name 2 or 3. And I bet you Vito would agree. And I bet you Joshua would agree. And I think if Nate Steele were watching the show tonight, he would agree. And I guarantee you Jebediah Blackhawk would agree. Jebediah said, man, he was a hell of a guy. He wrote me today and thanked me for the information. And I tried to get a hold of Aaron the Idol Stevens because he loved him. But I don't know if he knows yet. I told you. Mom, I didn't expect it.
Well, sorry, hold on.
But it's 10:05. It's time to
time for pills. Well, you know what? I figure I can either take medicine or come here and
you got
listen to. No, I didn't. I hadn't planned on being here, but I saw the topic, and unfortunately, someone I never met and didn't have a chance to know. But it certainly sounds like somebody that I really kind of wish I had a chance. To know. And
like I said, well, you're one of those 7 or 8 people that get my Instagram videos from time to time. But now I've learned how to send them to you on Facebook, so you get way more of those than you want. But when I find something humorous or entertaining, there's 7 or 8 people I want to share it with, and you're one of them.
So, do you want me to send a Vito or somebody a join link
if they would like, if Joshua or Carl or Vito, any of the 3 would like to come in, they're certainly welcome.
I'm gonna jump on a Facebook real quick then.
Yeah, I don't know if you have access to send Carl Brown one or not.
I don't. Well, I can see what they're doing. So, open that profile.
Well, thank you for helping out. I appreciate it. We got about 50 people in here right now. And guys, I still need some help helping some people if y'all can help. But like I said, I didn't want to sit here and beg anybody tonight. Just we got Mylene watching in here. Nicole, who sent a goodly sum of money the other day. Looks like she has sent a few more dollars if I can throw my glasses on. And Nicole always goes above and beyond helping us. And Nicole has donated $15. TC from the NC once again. He said, "Well, it's not lights from Mylene. Mylene, we need to reimburse for her travels to go visit her kids for the first time in 2.5 years. The lights and everything that's going to be going towards Ruby May and her mother, Hart Delos. We're buying a house for $100, guys. Buying a house. We paid the first $2,500. We got $2,500 more to pay. I told her we'd pay that in 2 more weeks. And then the electric, we're working on getting turned on. We've got it scheduled. Unfortunately, it's going to take a week or 2. They said to get it turned on, which I think is ridiculous. You have to wait that long. But those are the 2 tops on our priority list today.
All right. And so I sent an invite to Vito. It'll be in your Facebook Messenger, Vito. It'll probably be under like other messages or message requests since we're not.
You know what, Joshua and Carl, if y'all want to come in and tell any stories y'all might know, write my inbox, and then I can also click invite and send you a join link. It's easy enough.
Yeah.
And Vito, like I said, I've been crying since Carl wrote me today, and I didn't start crying until I called my son because like I said, man, Vivacious Charles was probably one of Christopher's favorite. I'll come out. That's all right, man. No, we're not holding anybody hostage here. If you got other shit going on, we understand. Let's see. And if you don't have the ability to do it or just not prepared to do it, don't worry about it. It's just an invitation. And Carl, the guy that notified you wrote me today too. I guess I should look and see what his name is. Donald Flowers has donated $15. Thank you, Donald. That's very sweet of you. Jazzy Jana has donated $25. Thank you. Uh-oh. Oh, my God. Bob. Eric Darcy, we don't hear from a whole lot. But when we do, he always steps up big. And he stepped up big tonight. Eric Darcy has donated $100.
Thank you, Eric.
That's very sweet. And then Jazzy Jana has donated the 25. Let me run these down again to make sure I got everybody. All right. So 25 from Jazzy Jana, $100 from Eric Darcy, Donald Flowers with an additional $15 on top of buying a Scaramucci book recently, $10 from TC from the NC. Eric Darcy, man, if you want one, if you would like to have an Anthony Scaramucci book, you've certainly earned one tonight. Anthony, they came in today, as a matter of fact. Anthony sent me out some more because we'd already got commitments on all the other ones. And
can you turn your phone sideways?
Yeah, you got to turn your camera sideways so we can see you. As The Rock would say, turn it sideways.
Turn your phone sideways. Turn my phone sideways. Turn your camera sideways. All right.
Perfect. As The Rock would say. And now, if you're listening to it on YouTube, you need to mute your YouTube because.
All right.
You got to mute your YouTube, or we're going to get the feedback. Yeah, you got to mute your YouTube and just play along with us.
And I'm going to do this. I'm going to stick around, Kenny, but I'm going to drop off the stage and let you guys chat. So.
Okay, have you got it all figured out there, Vito? Thank you, Bob.
I just turned it off.
Yeah, but as long as you can hear me and we can show.
All right, I turned it off. Sorry.
Okay, we got the coal train popping in here, and Bob, go ahead and hop back in.
I can't hear y'all.
You can't hear us. Do you have headphones?
Yeah.
Do you have
I
headphones?
don't know what I'm doing.
I mean, we had you on.
I can't hear y'all.
Okay.
Okay.
Man, I can't hear you. I will, though, get on here and just say about Vivacious Charles.
Yeah.
I can't hear y'all. I don't know what
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
All right, I guess he's going to try it again. He's going to try it again. We've had him on before, and it worked fine. We had him and Blackhawk on the same show.
Maybe because he had his YouTube or something playing, and then
it could be.
Give
me 1 second. I gotta give me 1 second. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
So, guess who just woke up from a nap they didn't plan?
I don't know. Who'd that be?
Yeah, I was about to say the oldest man in the room now. All of a sudden,
are you?
Well, that didn't last long.
The youngest, oldest.
John was an OVW. What did John work as? He gave me his name there. Here it is, John Rodman. Yeah, what did John work as? Because a lot of people I didn't know their real names. Carl, what did John work as? But Vivacious was 50 years old, and Rodman told me that he had an upcoming birthday, and I'm so fucking sorry he didn't make it. And 2 rounds of cancer, that's no fucking bargain either. I just found out another friend of mine yesterday. I can't reveal who it is because they haven't really made it public yet. But another one of my dear friends that you all hear me talk about on here found out his father's got cancer, and it started with some growth in his elbow that they didn't think was that serious, and it turns out it's pretty fucking serious. And just found this out yesterday, and it's somebody I tease and rib all the time, and I was told, hey, Dad, you might want to lighten up a little bit. Man's going through some serious shit. And then they told me what, and I said, man, I've been up to 600 pounds, damn near. Been told 4 times I wasn't coming out of the hospital. I'm 64 years old, be 65 in March. And I got fucking Charles, who was a cop, pretty decent shape. He certainly wasn't anywhere near the shape I was in. Hadn't been in a hospital 4 times. Told he wasn't coming out. And fuck, you know. And I had a long talk with my son today, and this is sad to talk about, but I had to prepare him for some shit. I said, you know, we are not guaranteed tomorrow. No, none of us. No, absolutely. Vivacious Charles didn't wake up.
I don't know why I can't hear anything.
Can you still not hear, Vito?
Jesus, I don't know why I can't hear anything.
Well, put your headphones on. Whatever you're watching on, put on your headphones. And he should be able to hear us. But no, Vivacious Charles didn't wake up today thinking this was going to be his last day. And, you know, I've been cleaning the yard the past several days. I mean, fuck, I could drop dead out in the yard. I could drop dead walking the trash out the door, playing with a fucking dog. I mean, we are not guaranteed tomorrow. The poor man was 50 years old. And dealing with cancer or not, I have several people I know dealing with cancer that expect to be here tomorrow. And but Eric Darcy, if you're watching, thank you so much. That was so sweet of you to do that. I don't know if he put a note with that or not. He did not. Yeah, he didn't even put it. But Eric, if you're watching the show, thank you so much. And you made me cry because that was awful generous of you to do that. So at least we can let Mylene know that we can get her thing taken care of. Because I told her it might take a week to raise the money. Because, you know, we also got to keep people fed too. Eunice's family's in the process of looking for a house. And it started out at 80,000 pesos. Now they found one for 25,000. I said, well, why don't we sell one of the motorcycles and get some money for that? And then they're going to give you 10,000 when they demolish the house that me and Bob and the show spent 50,000 building. That seems fair.
It's a great return on the investment.
Great return on the dollar. It's almost like AMC. And so I said, if you can get the people to wait for the 10,000 from the demolition of the house, wait for the whatever you sell the motorcycle for, and we're going to try and get 8 to 10,000 out of that.
Maybe give them the motorcycle as part payment.
That's a possibility. I haven't thought of that, but that's a possibility. I don't know if they have a motorcycle or not. They have a house they're selling, so maybe they got one. I don't know, but that's a possibility. And it's a nice motorcycle. I mean, I've spent a goodly sum keeping that motorcycle going and in top shape. It's full of gas right now. Both of them are. And but I got the other motorcycle for 5,000 pesos. And the reason I did it, even though I told Bob we're out of the motorcycle business, the reason I did it, the family that wanted to sell the motorcycle, which apparently is even better than the black one she's got, they had medical needs and food needs. And I said, okay, if it gets Eunice a second motorcycle, we can sell the black one. And we help this family, which we'd have probably helped anyway. So it was one of those 2-bird deals. Vito, how we doing?
I'm here. I can hear you now. Sorry, I had to get all this stuff set up.
Well, that's the last fucking sight I wanted to see tonight. I don't think Vivacious Charles would wanted to see that either.
See what?
You spread out in your bed is the last thing any of us wanted to see tonight.
That's the only place I had to set something up. I'm not at home. I'm at my uncle's house helping him with some stuff, and I got to crash on this little bed. And I'm using my phone. It's the only thing
that is a small bed. That is not a king size bed or a bed for a king. It
was a.
You said you're helping your uncle. What city are you in tonight?
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of title changes happening up there. A lot of title changes.
No, I'm in good old Louisville down here in Portland, where I grew up.
Okay, I've definitely been to Portland a couple of times. Give my love to the good folks of Portland. Not Oregon, Oregon, everybody. Portland.
No, nor Maine. It's just the west end of Louisville, and we just had we had the Portland Festival today, and I slept through it.
Oh, okay.
That would be the Portland Lobster Festival of Louisville.
Yeah, more like mud bugs, crawfish. Yeah.
My brother is currently in remission. Cancer is tough, like everything else. That's why I always preach to treat the others love and kindness. Yeah, and we try to do that here. yeah, I've got a few trolls out there, and I had to block somebody today who tried to keep the trolls in my life. Bob would not let this person in his life, and that was a wise decision. And then we caught the person lying. He claimed he was helping a former co-host of mine, sending him money. Heard he was living under a bridge. I said, well, I know he's not living under a bridge. And he said, well, yeah, I send him money from time to time. And then I checked with my friend, and he said, no, this person has never sent me any money. So he got blocked for being a liar, and he got blocked for trying to keep the trolls a part of my life, which
What a weird
I ignore these people for a fucking reason. So, but not to make about all that. So give me a Vivacious Charles story there, Vito. What do you got?
Well, Vivacious Charles was one of the very first students. Well, he was in the first class ever of the beginners class. Him and John and Big Carl.
What year did he come in? Because I thought he was in the old building, so he would have been in the old building, right?
Yeah, we were in the old building. I never worked out of the new building. I only did the old building.
You never had a day in the new building?
Nope. I went over there and visited and stuff, but I never worked there.
Okay, all right. I couldn't remember because I knew the roster changed a bit after 9/11. And we went to the new building after 9/11. Were you in the ring the night Cornette gave the big speech about 9/11? Were you in the ring with us that night or no?
I can't. By 2001, I was gone.
Okay, because I remember Treasure being in the ring with us. Rico was in the ring with me that night. Cena. Yeah. So were you around for the Rico Cena era?
Oh yeah. Okay. I was the first guy Rico worked when he got there.
That's right. I think you told that story on the show about. Okay.
You know that there was something very special about that class. I mean, I don't know if anybody out of that class.
Well, name me the people in there. You had Joshua in there, and you and Vivacious Charles, and
Vivacious
Nick Dinsmore, Rob Conway.
Well, no, Rob wasn't in the beginners class. I was advanced class before the beginning class came along, but I hadn't started wrestling yet.
What about your former partner?
Monkey? Guido Monkey. He was in that first class of that. No, he was there. He was a little before that, just a little bit before that. But Monkey
and Vivacious was a part of that class. Do you remember the year that was?
That would have been like 98. 97, 98.
No, I wasn't too far off on TV that night. I was at Vivacious Charles, a 9-year veteran of the beginners class.
Yeah, we used to call him the world's longest student or professional, the perpetual wrestling enthusiast. I don't know. Dude, I don't know. I can't get it out. But we used to fuck with him all the time. Charles was a great guy. Yes, perpetual. Yeah. Yes, as a perpetual student.
Easy for all of us to say, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Charles
was 97, right around there. Yeah.
97. Yep. Charles. I met Charles through John ATM. John did the wrestling gimmick ATM. T. McGuire. Okay. He was a sports agent, and you know what? He could have been. He could have been
mentioned earlier today.
John could have been great.
That Portland Wi-Fi is a little suspect over there.
It is. Yeah,
but you keep popping back in.
My bad.
What I would do is hook your antenna wire into that bed frame, and that'll probably boost your signal.
Well, I could maybe put some foil on my head.
I got foil on the head of the bed. I might go black and white TV now.
I'll just go get it. I'll go for visual aspects. I'll just go get some and put it on top of my head for the.
Well, that never hurts either. That never hurts.
Yeah.
Either. So you're in the beginners class, and how did all that go?
Well, there were so many characters, and to tell this story a little bit better and do it any justice, like John, I met him first, and he looked like I met him. He was a student at U of L, and I was working third shift security at U of L. I'm like, man, you got to join this wrestling class. And he joined it. I said, there's a beginner's class going to start. And in that first beginner's class was John ATM, Big Carl, who was he worked at Churchill, and we just used to say he used to just jack the horses off because he was like 7 foot, 500 pounds.
Yeah.
And then, and then of course, there's good old.
We all got to have a job, right? We all have to have a job.
Yeah. The world needs ditch diggers, Kenny. But you know, got to get a Ted Knight quote in there. Yeah, horse jackers for sure. Somebody's got to do it. You know, I didn't think Stacy could. I didn't think Stacy could do all of them by herself.
No, Stacy couldn't do them all. No, she had to have some help. I forgot David C. would have probably been in that class too, right?
David was way before that. He was wrestling. He was wrestling and managing way before Danny, wrestling and refereeing way before Danny even had the building. Back when they were wrestling, the old K. Martin Dixie and Waylon. We called him Waylon because he looked like Waylon Mercy.
He did look like Waylon Mercy. I also remember David C. The company was scrapping for talent so desperately that he was actually the OVW champion for a while.
Yep. Yeah, I can say the same thing about my tag team run. but good old Vivacious Charles was the nicest guy ever. Was just great. Always wanting to try. Always busting his butt. I don't know why he never got a shot. I mean, he was only 5'8", 5'9". And,
I was going to say he was a big guy.
Yeah, and but he was he just exuded this something about him. He just put off this. He put off this aura that says everybody liked Vivacious Charles. Nobody.
Well,
he was such a good guy.
I'll tell you what, and I've been accused of this too. Al Snow used to say, "Well, why does Kenny Bolin get so much free shit? Why does Kenny get all this attention?" He said, "Well, because Kenny acts like a star everywhere he goes." Well, that's what Vivacious Charles did.
Yeah.
No one else might not have believed in him, but goddamn Vivacious Charles did. He thought he was a star.
Yeah, well, he was a star. If you got to meet Charles, you just saw his smile in his eyes. Charles was a star. Charles was a star, but he was probably in the same thing I was at that time.
You got to believe in yourself because other people might not. So it starts with inside of you. You got to believe in yourself.
Charles was just his whole family too. Like I used to go over his house before road trips to pick him up, and it would be an hour thing where you go, and it wasn't bad at all. I'm not saying oh my god, but we knew to get there early because we need to get. I'm good, ain't I? We knew to get there early. We knew to get there early because his mother would invite everybody into the house, and she would have a whole thing packed out for every road trip. And I probably did 20 of them with Charles, and they were always like this.
That's why you picked up Charles. You knew he was going to get fed good.
Well, that's what happened later. But she would make like the little sandwiches with the crust cut off, and they were all folded up and little Debbie's, and she would have the little juice boxes and Capri Suns, all kinds of snacks. I'm like a whole cooler full of shit.
So who always doing these road trips? You, Vivacious, and who?
Well, Jeb.
Monkey, I guess. Jeb and I. Okay.
Well, Guido didn't like going down to Eastern Kentucky in the mountains. That's why I always had to find somebody because they would book the Andretti
He was
Express.
Made for Eastern Kentucky in the mountains. Why did he not like going there?
I don't know. He probably had some kind of inbred cousin that he knocked up or something. I don't know.
Now you're ratting him out. Now you're ratting him out.
No, it could be a possibility. I don't know for sure. It's just in the realm of possibilities out there.
Some people are saying it. We don't know for sure.
Yeah, we don't know if it's true or not. There's a lot of people saying it. Or could it possibly be you knocked up his inbred cousin and he didn't want to hook you up?
I certainly tried.
I didn't doubt that.
But his name was Larry, but I tried. No, Vivacious Charles. Let's get back to Vivacious Charles because there's certainly a bunch of characters that came through OVW. Tons of them. Guys that made big money and guys that didn't do nothing. Guys that quit after throwing $2,000 down for the first class. We ran them out for sure. That was mine and Guido's job to run people out.
Yeah,
that's the way it was back then. You beat people's asses because they could take your spot.
Well, that's how. And you know where Danny learned that from, right?
I would say from and the Welches.
It was Tojo's job. I mean, it's Tojo Yamamoto's job to run people off.
And so that kind of became our gig.
And if you couldn't take it from Tojo, you couldn't take it. And you got if you survived Tojo, you made it to TV. That's pretty much how it was.
I kind of wish, looking back on those days, I probably stopped a lot of guys from getting into wrestling just because Rip Rogers showed me how to do a sugar hold.
Oh yeah,
we did.
Rip did love the sugar hole.
We'd get in there in class. Oh, you want to be a wrestler? Here, let me show you something. No, you got them all hemmed up.
Two things Rip Rogers are known for: the sugar hold and the butt plug.
Yeah, the packing. It's the packing. Yeah. You're giving away too much of the finish of the butt plug by calling it a butt plug. It's the packing. You got to build up to it, and then when it's put under your nose.
Oh, good. Yeah,
that's when you put it over.
I can see Rip doing all that.
Oh, he used to take it and pull it out, and he would hold it up, and there'd be a little brown tip on it, and he'd hold it up just like that to under your nose. Yeah. But Charles, let's get back to Charles, because
let's get back to Charles if we
please.
He was one of the best people I've ever known in my life. Charles was just. I know you've said it over and over tonight. We're probably going to keep repeating it over and over, and people over and over. But people probably think, "Oh, we're just saying this because he's passed."
No, because I buried a lot of dead people and not with a shovel.
Yeah.
Oh, when Rod Steele got killed in the I can't remember if it was a car wreck or a motorcycle accident. We were at Applebee's when we found out, and it's me and Cena and Rico and a couple others, and not 10 minutes after we found out he's dead, we talked about how crappy he was, about
Rod Steele,
and what a horrible worker he was. And
we all loved him.
But the comment at the table, Chris came up with it, and it's stuck ever since. Well, Dad, you know how we are. We always bury our dead. It's because when anyone dies, we look for funny shit to talk about to make it easy.
Oh, hell yeah.
To make
hey, Kenny, when you pass and stuff and all that, there's going to be some.
Once the celebrating slows up a little bit.
Those people gonna have something to say about you, King. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that's so cool is that with our careers, there's just all kinds of fucking video out there to where now we never die. We never die. And between the podcasting and the videos and how fuck WWE having a bunch of my shit on Peacock and soon to be Netflix, I now will never officially die. There's be something out there all the time. And,
but you know what though? I know who would have videotape footage of Charles.
Who?
Nick Dinsmore. Danny gave him Danny's got it. They gave him all of the tapes from all the beginners classes that we used to do. When we do the shows
today, and I didn't even have any pictures of him. I don't think he.
I sent you one.
Oh,
I sent you one in your inbox. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
not as a wrestler, but I sent you one in your inbox.
Well, here, let me.
That was when I was trying to.
Let me forward
it over,
and we'll get it here on the show. Give me just a minute. And is Joshua still with us? Here's what's weird. Jerome Croney just wrote me. He says, I can't place him, King. You know fucking well Croney with Charles. Yes. In the bill.
So
he's high.
Croney smoked a shitload of pot, man.
Vito Andretti says you're smoking a shitload of pot if you don't know who Vivacious Charles is.
No, he was then. Back then, Eagle was always high.
Okay,
yeah, and I'm burying him.
He says you were probably smoking a lot back then and you didn't even realize he was there. God damn. Croney.
How do you not remember Croney? Croney, how do you not remember Charles? You was in class with him every day for like forever.
I know. He had to been. Because when I was making the comments about Vivacious Charles being a 9-year veteran of the beginners class and Danny giving me shit about it, Croney was there then. And that was years later. I do have a message from Eric. I hope he doesn't mind that I read it, but I'm going to anyway. King, I just sent you a few bucks on Cash App. Well, I think that adds up to more than a few that goes under the qualifications of a goodly sum. I'm watching the show currently. I wanted to help since I had a few extra bucks. You're welcome, King. I always try to help when I'm able to. Thanks for everything you do and for the ones you love. Well, that was very sweet of you, Mr. Darcy. I appreciate that. And Honey Rose is awake, thanking us for all that we've done for her, getting her on her vitamins. She said she's feeling better these days. Oh my God. Okay. I think John Rodman just sent me a picture that includes him. So I'm going to forward that to Bob. And let me see what Vito sent me. Vito.
Probably the same picture John sent me.
Yeah, that's probably an even better picture. So Bob, there's a couple of pictures we can show of Vivacious. And Bob, man, I really appreciate you and Coltrane coming in here tonight because I think y'all saw I was I forgot who said it, but somebody said he's struggling, and I forgot who said
Joe
it.
Namath. Well, it was
that was Joe Namath, wasn't it? He's struggling. I knew somebody said it. I just couldn't remember who.
If any of these, I'm sorry.
Paul RJ sends his love down in Australia. Paul sends his love.
How dare you stop Kenny from interrupting you, Vito?
Sorry, my bad.
My ex-girlfriend Jenny just sent me a beautiful picture from 7-Eleven. Wow. Yeah. Are those the lips I gave up a few years ago? Holy shit. Let's see. Here we go. Somebody, Tasha Van just sent me some video of Vivacious Charles.
There we go. Tasha was around that all the time. Tasha was Pookie's girlfriend.
Was whose?
Pookie's girlfriend at one time.
Oh, was that Pookie's girlfriend? I didn't know that.
Yeah, for a while.
Okay, all right. And I sent that to Jason and Bob and to Bob. And the video, if we can steal a clip or two. Oh, it's got Nick Dinsmore's fucking name on it. So I would think we could get by with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody owns copyrights to amateur video. I wouldn't think. I wouldn't think anybody owns copyrights to that. Well, now
Charles owned it.
Now I got to forward that to Crony so Crony knows who Vivacious Charles is.
All right, so here's the pictures.
Vivacious Charles right there in the middle, and you said that's Rodman on the right?
No, John ain't in there with him, no.
Oh, John's not in that one. Who's on the left? Who's on the left?
I don't know those guys, but I know John's in the next one.
Oh, John's, yeah. Okay, John. There we go. Well, that's good old Vivacious Charles. And as you can tell, he loved to have fun.
Well, and you can just tell, I mean, and just looking in his eyes, like you guys said, this is a guy that's just a good guy. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they say the eyes are the portal to the soul, and you can look in someone's eyes and you can tell a lot of times what kind of person they are. And you can see here, this is just a good person.
Yeah, yeah. A cop over in Southern Indiana.
Or he hides it very well.
And that's only a year ago, guys. That's only 1 year ago. God damn it.
Wow.
And he always got such a kick out of me teasing him on TV, even on DCW, about him being the longest reigning beginner. And I always said, I wouldn't even give him advanced class. 9 years in the beginner class. He's just not catching on, folks.
That counts as a doctorate. He earned a doctorate.
Danny raises his fees every year.
That would not have been a bad gimmick.
It wouldn't have been. That should have been. If he ever wins a match, he gets a television match.
He gets to go to the advanced class.
Yeah, he gets a program on OVW, and when he wins, you know who we did something similar to that with when I worked for that other company. What was his name? He's in a group picture with me. He's in a group picture with me, Cornette. Wore a white suit. Oh God, shit. What was his goddamn name?
Seven?
No, it wasn't Seven. This was over at Ian's company. And
God.
And he was mainly known for being a manager, but over there he was wrestling. And
the Rick?
Who?
It wasn't the Rick, was it?
It wasn't. No, Rick Brady wrote me today and said to send his condolences and love. I did hear from Rick Brady. It wasn't the Rick.
Played a lot of softball with Rick Brady.
God damn it! There's I don't know if that group. I know I've sent Bob the group picture before. But there's me, a guy that was in that worked for Les Thatcher that used to have a cell phone. I can't think of his name either. And then me and Cornette were in the picture. GQ Masters. And GQ Masters, every show, and Dutch was on a lot. Dutch Mantel was on a lot of these shows. And GQ always wanted me to manage him. I said, no, I don't manage losers. I'm not going to attach my name to you. And that was and we do this in front of the crowd. GQ, I tell you what, if you can ever win a match, I'll be your manager. So I would go out and sit at ringside with my arms folded, and every week he'd fucking lose. and he would have the match locked up. King, I got him. And he would fuck around and not cover them or just whatever. And every week. And what did they do the week I left their company? They had GQ win the next week. So he goes 6 months never winning a match, and then the week I leave, he wins. So
you want to know who else was in that
great
first class?
What's that?
Guess who else was in that first class? You was talking about managers.
Yeah.
Tim the Baker. Tim the Baker.
Oh my God! I took the Stone Cold Stunner from Tim the Baker. He didn't tell me he was giving it to me, and Danny said it looked perfect. I went into the ring to confront him because they had beaten my team or something on one of those amateur shows, and I went into the ring to confront Tim the Baker. Can you give a little background on Tim the Baker to the Baker? And
Tim
he wore a chef's hat to the ring, right?
Yep.
And a rolling pin. He brought a rolling pin to the ring.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was great. He said I would crumble your cookies. He had a Psycho Doughboy on his shirt, and he was fabulous. I'll crumble your cookies. Well, Tim the Baker, he was in that first class. And this is another thing that makes that first class so beautiful. The people that were in it, the souls you get to meet, guys.
And there was something special about Tim the Baker. Find a polite way to say it, because I don't know that
Tim the Baker, I think had very low levels of being Down syndrome, so he's slow and on the spectrum. He retired from McDonald's after that. He worked at McDonald's, basically as a greeter, kind of, but super soft guy and not stupid. No, that's what people used to.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
No,
and he knew wrestling.
Yeah, he would cut. And even though he was older and in not the best of shape and a little bit slow, he got in there and busted his butt. He was in that training class for probably 2 years.
When I got in the ring to confront him on that amateur show, I don't even know if he knew that I was coming to confront him. I just decided to do it. And I get in the ring and I'm confronting him and I'm giving him shit. And that motherfucker kicks me in the stomach. And I said, here we go.
I probably told him to do it.
And
me and Nick used to book those shows.
And it went so good, it looked like we rehearsed it 13 times. I didn't know he was going to do it. I'm pretty sure he didn't know he was going to do it unless you told him to. And thank you for thinking I would know what to do, because I don't think I'd ever took a stunner before. I didn't even take one from Steve. So, Rico got to take the stunner that night.
Do you remember the Portland Phantom?
I don't. Who was the Portland Phantom? Because Crony was what? Crony was the
American Eagle. Yeah. All right, this was the Portland Phantom.
With Charles. Good God.
Now, this kid was not in that first beginners class. He was in one of the later ones. Like around the time of it was when Brock and them were there.
What is Tasha trying to tell us here? That was years ago. Our son is 13 now.
Okay. She used to be Pookie's girl, right? They got a kid together.
Oh, okay. All right.
She said that was 13 years ago.
We're gonna show this video.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Under the fair use principle, remembering the life of Vivacious Charles, the only known video of him wrestling.
Oh my God!
Oh, snot! Oh,
he is bound to have something, but let's see.
And he's got. There's plenty.
I'm trying to set us up so we don't get hit with a copyright thing.
Learn to work, Vito.
The only known video of Vivacious Charles working
as of tonight,
and at least the only one I know of, because it's the only one I've been told about. And so here we go. Let's going to put this video screen up. We're going to share that. You should be able to see that. I will blow that up to full screen.
All right, let's do that. God damn, Nick, just hog the whole thing. That's the Nick I remember.
Yeah, baby!
Oh, Jesus.
He's in better shape than wrestlers were.
Forward, I'm the one that hung that banner.
You know why there's no audio to this? I'll tell you later.
Yeah, there's audio. There's audio. We hear it.
It's not very good audio. Well, no, there's audio was the ring announcer, so there may not be a commentary.
Oh, why there's no commentary?
That's what I was getting ready to tell you. There's no commentary because Danny let me and Nick do the commentary, and we were so vicious and brutal on it. He said no, and he removed all the audio commentary.
Yeah, he wanted to do that with me and Cornette a few times too. Because me and Cornette did commentary in a lot of amateur shows, and we just had a ball.
Well, this might be one of the ones. No, it wasn't one. It might be one of the ones you did. Who knows?
No, I don't remember this. But I did hang that banner. I told Star Ford their spot. And I think the other ones might be Dan's Cash America unless somebody else can make it out.
Dan's Cash America.
And Bob, in case you didn't know, me and Dean sat in front of that camera up on a pedestal. We're about 15, 20 feet above everybody.
So I think since this match is missing commentary, Kenny, you and Vito should do the play.
I don't know that we should.
I don't know everybody's name except for Vivacious Charles. We have to give everybody else fake names.
Yeah, I
want to go back and do commentary?
Snake Plissken
Who's the guy with the long hair? He looks yeah, who's the guy with the long hair? He doesn't look like he belongs in there.
I don't know. I have to look at it on the TV. I'm looking at it on my phone.
He is Eric Idle. We'll call him Eric
Idle.
Okay.
Tasha would remember these.
Look at that. Look at the goddamn calendar for OVW back then.
Hey, we had good talent in those classes. We did.
Yeah, Eric. And I know I was there while he was there. Like I said, that banner didn't exist till I got there.
The guy that Eric Idle is wrestling in the ring is medium Bubba Rogers.
Oh, God.
Not quite big Bubba.
Not quite big Bubba. Is that Treasure at ringside? Is that Treasure?
Oh, come on, ref. Ref saw that.
Is the girl Treasure?
I don't know who that is.
Oh,
that might be Electrocute.
Okay. All right.
So,
because you got to remember, me and Cornette didn't see the amateur class unless we were doing commentary on it. Oh, we have another.
Yeah, the referee didn't say nothing either time, you know.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't care.
He knew it was supposed to happen. He knew it was supposed to happen.
You can't smarten the refs up. They can't know that shit.
Had Briscoe do this.
I think that ref never saw any days on OVW TV.
This is Teddy Briscoe Jr.
Did you see what Vivacious was wearing to the ring? Did you see what Vivacious
flamboyant?
That's referee Chet Briscoe Jr.
Chet Briscoe Jr. Yes.
No.
And now Vivacious Charles, he is in the ring. Oh no, Eric Idle's coming back in. Good.
Oh, wait till you see Vivacious, baby.
There we go.
You know he's gonna get the booty clap in.
Vivacious is gonna turn this shit around any minute. Big forearm to the head of Eric Idle. This would be what I'd be doing if I were there because I wouldn't know anybody.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Yeah, good luck, Kenny. Vivacious Charles, a 13-year veteran of the beginner's class and all. That's one of the things he learned. That's one of the things he picked up. He was not exactly going to kip up, but he can't. Just not just right it. He did it time. He'll never do it again, ladies and gentlemen. He'll never do it again. That's all.
By the way, this was in his first year class, not his ninth.
Was that his first year?
Ninth.
That's a lot of girth to get up twice. All right, who's in the ring now? Who's that, Bob?
This is Nate the Crippler Davis. He's Danny Davis's 14th cousin. White
the only thing that boy ever crippled was his mother when she gave birth to him. Oh, Jesus.
I thought it was the All-American Doug Briley.
That is not him. And I could barely get that 122 pounds up in the air, but I got him.
That was crisp.
Uh-oh. Oh, he got him with the foot.
The booty flap.
He was working the hard camera. He didn't know. He thought that hard camera was on. I went over there. He was working a hard camera. He really was.
We had a camera over there. Eventually, that's where Marty got the handheld camera to give us better shots during the shows.
There was a ledge over there.
Yeah. And if it doesn't sound like many fans are there, look, there's actually a fan in that left-hand corner running. That was our air conditioner. Oh, the bitch slap. That was our fan over there in the corner in case none of the paying customers paid.
The biggest
Oh, there
fan.
was no AC.
No, there was no fucking AC. The day Bolin Services debuted, it was 112 degrees in Louisville and about 126 in that building. The
All
walls
black.
were black because Danny's theory would keep it cool in there. Didn't work.
Don't say.
And by the way, if memory serves me correctly, Vito, there were no windows.
Oh, no, nothing. There was a door.
Open to get a breeze.
But then he had the curtains up so it wouldn't blow through.
Yeah. Even if there was a breeze, the curtain blocked it. So you're saying this is Vivacious' first year of training?
I'm not sure. It's probably his. What's the date on the current? It's probably his first year. Yeah, second. I'd say first.
Is there a date on it, Bob?
Not that I can see. Man. Oh, that.
Hot tag.
Charles.
House of fire, Charles.
Charles is with Prismatics. The girl is
We almost had timing on that one.
Donald McDonald.
Get over here for you.
Seth
Eric Idle's got this shit figured out. Eric Idle is light years ahead of everybody in this match.
Oh, it looks like a go, boy.
Eric Idle belongs on Monday Night Raw. He gets in there pretty quick. And not so fast on the opponent, but it didn't matter. Her heels are bigger.
Bouncy Barbara.
I will face do you right here in the ring, bitch. Eric Idle's going to do something. If he falls off the back of that, he's going to ruin me.
Lost total control of this match.
Yeah,
Bulimic bet.
and Charles laid there and took it like a man.
He didn't know the bounce, though. At least the referee knew.
Charles.
Oh, Charles.
They cheated.
Yeah, Charles had that until the end.
He's the only one that could count to 3. So.
Okay, all right, Eric Idle.
Charles is still in the show. Charles is still in the show.
He's still stealing
There
the
we
show.
go. That's it. No more Dinsmore. Get off the screen, Nick.
Dude, that was fabulous. Yeah, Dinsmore, fuck Dickie.
that was a surprise I wasn't expecting to get. It's Vivacious Charles.
Great.
We'll just say it was his first match to just make up for any inconsistencies in his professionalism in the ring and to steal the show from Eric Idle.
Yeah, Charles was the best.
Future superstar,
the Johnny
Idle.
Nitro of OVW, Eric Idle.
Charles had that.
Who trained Eric Idle? Because somebody should be taking credit for that. Was that Rip? Did Rip?
That would have been me. No, it would have been me and Nick.
You and Nick.
Nick and myself. Yeah.
I'd be taking credit for that shit.
There's no. We had tons of talent in those beginning classes. See, I wrestled for 2 years before I got on the show, Kenny. 2 years training before I got on the show. At OVW,
who was there bumping you guys off? Who?
I was still training when Mike Samples and all them were there. So I got my spot. My spot came in the show when Samples took all those guys, took Vic and all them, went over and started Kentucky Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
And that opened up spots for all of us because Samples left the Shooting Stars.
That led to the feud between Ian and Kentuckiana when we had the shoot fight with Flash Flanagan. They come over to start some shit with him, and Flash jumped out of the ring during a match to shoot fight them in the crowd.
Oh, he beat Jerry and Troy to death.
Yeah, Ian Rotten come down from, it's a shoot. So because Flash wasn't supposed to jump out of the ring and beat up the people that were there to watch him.
Ian Rotten's Mark ass would say that. He's a fucking Mark.
Oh, yeah, he come running. It's a shoot. So we had to run out there. Well, maybe I didn't go because I'm a bad guy manager feuding with Flash at that time. And then eventually, I remember the first time Flash Flanagan walked out on one of those shows with me, they named my group the KWO because the Kentucky Wildcats had printed out a shirt that said KWO, the Kentucky World Order. So,
but you're a Cards fan, ain't you?
Someone took a black Sharpie and blacked out Kentucky and put Ken World Order. And there were about 6 or 7 guys wearing these Ken World Order shirts out in the crowd. One of them was a money mark for Ian, and I liked the shirts. I said, well, that looks pretty cool. Hopefully everything's okay with Coltrane over there, or either that he's going to pee. He might be going to pee.
So if I go to pee, I'm just leaving you with this because I don't know how to fix it.
The next week, they brought me one of the shirts. I decided, if we're going to be the KWO. We're going to come out to NWO music. Who's going to give a shit? So for several weeks, I'm coming out to NWO music as the Ken World Order. This was my first thing to do that meant anything with Ian's shows. So Flash is now with me, and we're coming out to the ring to the NWO music. And Flash puts his arm around me and says, Kenny, I've never felt like a bigger fucking mark. I said, just go along with it. Just fucking go along with it. So we get the ring.
They're paying you.
And we claimed that we had been on the Oprah Winfrey show that day, but it was recorded and we weren't sure it was going to air when it was going to air because Flash had beaten a Intercontinental champion or something on Raw, and he'd been in the ring with him, but he didn't win. So we claimed Flash won. After the show went off the air, there was a reversal of the decision. Oprah Winfrey immediately had us on the show. So this is the promo we're telling as we're coming out to NWO music. So a few weeks later after that, Ian says, well, y'all can't use that music anymore. I said, why is that? Well, number one, we were getting the fuck over with it, for one thing. And number two, Ian said that Eric Bischoff had written him a personal letter, assist. Like Eric Bischoff would give two fucks if Ian Rotten's playing NWO music on a fucking non-televised show.
And not only that,
in front of 75 people.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes but he would pay for all that Mark talent, and sometimes we'd have crowds about 350 over there in the Kmart.
Oh yeah.
Because
he had his
the show up with Salvatore Sincere, Dutch Mantel.
He got the money marks. How many money marks did he bleed?
Rich. Yeah. And so we put all names on the show to get 350 people paying $15 a ticket.
Well, not only that, but the NWO music was public domain because they got it was
at that time. Yeah, which I didn't know.
And so
I never knew it was public domain because it was one of my favorite pieces of music for wrestling ever was the NWO.
Basically, Ian was just pissed that you guys were getting over.
Oh yeah, we got it's like one of those things with Vince McMahon. If you get over. And it wasn't my idea.
Well,
and it was not. It wasn't his idea for me to be KWO, and it wasn't his idea for us to use the music.
Aiden English was doing Rusev Day and singing out of the Rusev Day.
No, I just printed up some more shirts, and then I gave the sound guy my tape. I said, "Here, we're coming out to this from now on." and Flash, I remember he just put his arm around. I've never felt like a bigger fucking mark because he'd just been on Raw. And we're coming out to NWO music. So what do you do? What do you do?
Flash was great.
No. How long we been on, Bob?
I don't know.
1 hour and 11 minutes. The donations have dried up, although thanks to Eric Darcy, it's not a bad night.
It's been so long since I've seen Jenny that they now have new uniforms. She used to have the red one. I'm trying to find by here we go. That's my ex-girlfriend, Jenny. The reason Jenny wrote me is that Kimmy has graduated. Little Kim, who I've known since she was 2 years old.
Yeah.
Well, now she's like 10 or 11, and she's graduated. And wanted to know if Dada Kenny was going to get her a graduation gift.
Sure.
Yeah,
We'll
why
send
not?
her a picture of Honey Rose.
Check out my little friend, little Honey Rose.
We'll check out Archel. Oh, we lost Vito. Again.
Did we lose Vito? Well, and then I think Coltrane had to go somewhere because his camera's still on.
Yeah.
He might have had to go do something. I think the donation's fairly well dried up. Give me a second to clear my eyes and I'll take another look.
So thank you, Tasha, for sending us that
I think
only known video in the world of
the only one in the world.
Vivacious Charles versus Eric Idle.
Vivacious is actually hoping that's the only one in the world. He doesn't want any more of those coming out.
Yeah. Eric Idle, medium Bubba Rogers, and Jake the Crippler Davis.
They're very talented.
14th cousin, twice removed of Danny Davis.
Let's see here. Mango Jennifer says she's trying to watch the show. I don't know if she actually is or not. If she is, I guess she can comment.
Hello, Mango Jennifer.
I think you made it to where she could comment, right?
Yes.
Didn't you do some altercations?
Yes, I did an altercation with
altercation of the alteration
list of people.
Yeah. Eunice and Shasha are at the beach today, finally celebrating Shasha's 18th birthday.
Now that she's 19, there's
a good time to get that in, right? So what did you think of Vivacious Charles? We're just going to say it was his first match ever. Why not?
Yeah, for his first match, it was a match.
And but yeah, I forgot he wore that extremely flamboyant hat to the ring. I've forgotten all about that hat.
You know, and, it looked like the Dudley Boys from way long back.
When I was giving him shit over on OVW TV, and I'm going to say it was 2005 or 6 by then. So he probably had been around 8 or 9 years by then.
Carl, did you write to Kenny's inbox? Because you'll need to hit him in the inbox.
Where
and he
would
can
I
invite.
link to be if I got one?
Carl Brown.
Carl. Brown.
Yeah, write my inbox, Carl, and hang on here. Let me get a invite. Copy.
Thank you, Vito, for joining us, and thank you for.
Yes, Vito, that was fun. Thank you for doing that.
Did you just lose connection or what?
Do you have Facebook Messenger, Carl? Or if you don't have Facebook, maybe the Twitter machine. I mean, X machine.
No, Carl's on Facebook.
Yeah. Facebook Messenger.
Honey Rose is not watching the show right now. She says, "How's your day, dear?" And I said, "Doing my show, talking about you."
Yeah. So speaking of vitamins, which we gave to Honey Rose, I think we're going to start putting Jelly Bean on some vitamins. And Jara, they're sick again. I'm like,
yeah, they are. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea we put some of these kids on vitamins because it does seem to be helping.
Yeah.
Where'd Carl Brown
My girls
go?
take the gummies and they say they work.
There you go.
Like their nails and hair and all that.
I don't know if we can get like Filipino gummies or.
You can, because I tell you what, let me send you what Honey Rose sent me today because she wanted to know, are these any good? So I sent her what I take, my sweet gummies and my adult. So I'm going to send Bob a picture of mine. This is what I take. And I hear that these Kirkland vitamins are sold in the Philippines. Now, for how much, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, those are good. They passed a lot
they
of
have
tests.
Like a Calbiog City Costco.
Calbiog City Costco is one of the most popular stores in Costco. Here is what Honey Rose. That's what Honey Rose is taking right now. And then she sent me this, wanting to know what I knew of any of these. So I'm going to send those as well.
I've noticed the ones that you swallow, they upset my stomach big time.
I take both. I took doctor prescribed vitamins for quite some time, and Chris told me that these Costco gummies were doing very good for him. So I take 2 of those every day. Just took a couple a little bit ago.
Take a lot of mine in shake form. A lot of powders and shit.
Injecting.
There you go.
Vitamins, that's what they are, really.
They're vitamins, damn it.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's a bunch of junk.
Bob, feel free, being as Jenny went through a lot of trouble to make her lips look that good today, feel free to go ahead and show my ex-girlfriend Jenny's picture. We were together for about 3.5 years. And as a matter of fact, she got hired at 7-Eleven the day we met. And I've known Jenny now since Kim was not even 2 years old yet. And Kim is now 10, maybe sneaking up on 11 this winter, this February. Yeah, this February, Kim will be 11. So I have known Jenny for 9 years. And the thing is, Jenny has hardly aged a fucking day.
Oh, hello. Those are
she's hardly aged a day. Oh, well, they're prettier than mine. And and I got another picture of her just smiling.
Better than mine too. Yep.
Is that a filter or is her skin really that smooth?
I doubt her phone has a filter. That would be my guess.
She got one of those flip phones from back in the day.
I think she might be a little beyond the flip phone, but probably not much further. And apparently she's at work right now. She just sent me that a few minutes ago. I told her what I was going to do was buy. She said they really needed a load for her schoolwork, even though they graduated to go right back to school very soon. And she said Kim would be thrilled if we even bought her a 30-day load, which is about 1,500 pesos. So about $30. We'll buy them a good load for 30 days to where they can really do some good work. So I told her that seemed fair for a graduation present. And
Plus, if
God
you buy
knows,
any 2 Cokes, you can get 20 pesos off.
yeah, and I did not have to buy a cap and a gown for that kid this year. So, and several other kids didn't get a cap and gown either. Did you see where the Filipino turned down my money?
Yes, shockingly.
How about that shit? How about that shit?
She looks like she's steadily getting disappointed in that picture. Like she just saw something that was like, oh.
All right.
Give us a thumbs up, Carl.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up when you're ready and hear us good. Get the camera a little further back so we can see you.
And
yeah.
There
we go. That's a little better. God damn, I think he's a hostage somewhere in somebody.
That swinging light.
live from Gaza, we've got Carl Brown
from the Gaza Strip. The
picture's frozen up.
What was picture? God damn, what do we got to do to get people some good Wi-Fi around here?
There we go. All right, we're gonna bring you in, Carl. Here we go.
All right, what's up, Carl?
There we go. We can
barely hear me.
Yeah, there you go.
I know.
Hear you now. Live from the Gaza Strip. Looks like you're being held hostage somewhere. I saw the light above your head there. Looks like you're being interrogated. Wanting information.
Somebody in the background
that you may or may not have.
The cattle pod behind you.
Repeat that.
I wanted to let you say thank you for all the kind words about Charles.
Oh man, that was so nice to get to play that video and relive that. I'm gonna get Bob to give me a time cue on that so my son can see that. We have both cried a lot today, and then obviously a lot more on the show. And I know that most of the people did not know who he was that are watching this show, but you got cheated because he was just such a funny guy, a good cop. We can't say that all the time because there's some bad ones out there. Some that have watched this show and participated on his show that weren't very good cops. That had restraining orders put against them. So, but not Vivacious Charles. We did not have to put a restraining order on Vivacious Charles. And
I got it.
Go ahead.
I got a story to tell. He met this girl, and he was crazy about her.
Yeah.
And he was telling, "Oh, I'm going to be a wrestler. I'm a wrestler. I'm like, dude, you need to shut up about that. Danny done told you about that stuff.
Yeah. Danny was strict about that. Danny was strict.
So he says, I'm going out on a date with her tomorrow. I says, you are? He says, yeah. It's okay. So every 5 minutes, I call. Hey, how are you? Far yet? Oh, okay, click. You at the restaurant? Where you go eat? Ain't too good, click. I did this for 45 minutes.
Uh-huh.
He asked me. I said, it's a restaurant, and she left.
God damn.
But,
God damn. Well,
So
the stupid part was
lived happily ever after, and you broke them up.
Yeah, the stupid part is that he didn't turn his fucking phone off. That he let you interrupt him that many times.
I wanted to see how far it'd go. I'm like, well, it was your own damn fault. Why didn't you just leave it?
Just turn the goddamn phone off would have been a step in the right direction. That would have worked. Did you ever work any matches with Charles?
Yes, and his mother hated it.
Why is
me
that?
and him, we were thick as thieves, and she said, if you two ever have a match against each other, there's going to be hard feelings. They're going to get mad at each other. There'll be fist fights and again. So we come up here then.
You know how many battles me and Cornette had over our 45-year friendship, and never once did anything remotely like that ever happen. Or did y'all just not smarten mom up? Was that the thing? Did y'all just didn't smarten mom up?
We never smartened up.
Yeah. I was getting ready to say, normally is when friends work each other, those are the best matches.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had matches up here in Upper Indiana, up in Fortville and stuff like that. And We just had a ball. We just call it in the ring and have a ball with it.
Yeah, of course. But no, Danny
You
used
know.
to be very strict. He did not want anybody referring to themselves as a professional wrestler.
No.
And Bobby Eaton once told me. Bobby says they were kind of strict with that too. They said when you make your living in professional wrestling, then you can call yourself a pro wrestler. And he says, Kenny, he says, I was not able to pay my bills in pro wrestling until I'd been in business for 7 years. And I got in with Goulas in 96. I'm sorry, 86. And I had side jobs the whole time until I got in with OVW. I always had side jobs. So I have a very similar story. I was in what they called pro wrestling, but it's hard to call yourself a professional wrestling manager when what put the food on the table was Kroger quadruple your money back meat scams, allegedly. By the way, this man never ever participated in a meat scam that I know of. We got the new autograph books in today. The Glenn Rock version got a nice little blue sticker there to make the autograph stand out a little better. And we got a 12-pack of mooches today, so those came in. And in my book,
yours yet, Bob?
It's
Fuck no, he ain't got it.
On the way.
Yeah, I believe mine's still on the ship.
Well, that's funny because I've yet to see the $65 donation come through. You think y'all are exempt because y'all carry me on this show?
Ready? Yeah.
No, this ain't ZZ Top.
Hey,
we might
Jelly
look like
Bean.
we have ZZ Top on the left side of the screen.
Hey, Jelly Bean, let's get let Kenny know about that.
What?
No,
Another
we're good.
thing,
Yeah, Mark, it's extremely sad, and we're doing a show paying tribute to him right now.
bad name on
We
OVW.
showed one of his first matches.
Hang on, Carl, just 1 second. Kenny's
Mark Henry just wrote me. All he wrote was just no. So no, Mark thought the world of Vivacious Charles, and
I'll give you two stories about Charles worked the angle at the old arena between Devo and Mark. Mark first come down when they was going to have him lose weight and everything. Charles was like 240 pounds. He felt like a 700 got like the floor. He got like hamburgers in his pockets, very heavy. My girlfriend off. Two girls whoa. But he comes in, he cleans house and everything, and he sees Charles. Well, Charles starts powdering and backing off and everything, and he grabbed him and slammed him over the ring, out of the ring, and all you heard was, and Charles was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Well, Charles is selling and goes in the back. So he comes out and they're like, oh, you poor baby, oh this, oh that. He said, I think he broke my freaking ribs. I said, huh? Yeah, I think, now they're not smart. You're just smart in my either. I think he broke my freaking ribs. I think he took two ribs.
God damn. Yeah, Vito saying hey to you there, Carl. And,
Hey, Vito.
Eric Darcy, who made the big $100 donation tonight. Why would you want to smarten up your mother? I usually don't when one of my buddies and I are feuding, just to get a reaction out of her. My mother almost blew off Jerry Lawler. Not that way, please. Not about my mother. No. I said that wrong.
She was too old for him.
She was way too old. My Jerry and I had a match at Six Flags on a Friday night. And then Jerry was supposed to be in Chicago the next night, and things went so well. And I think we were with Charles the Hammer Evans on the Friday night. And then we were doing back-to-back shows at Six Flags. It's one of the first times we'd ever done it. Normally we would do Six Flags and then either a month later or 2 weeks later eventually. And then I think eventually we started going every week there for a while, or every 2 weeks, whatever it was. So Jerry Lawler calls me early that day. He says, Kenny, I decided not to go to Chicago. He said, I'm going to blow them off not in a good way. And he says, "Is your mom available?" He said, "You had her kicked out of the park last night for cheering for me." I said, "Yeah." I said that was all just impromptu. And I said, "She fucking went along with it, so it went good." I said, "I had security throw her out, and she fucking went." And he said, "Well, here's the thing." He says, "I want your mom to manage me tonight." And he said, "I got a story worked out with it. Just go along with it." He says, "Can you have your mother come there and manage me tonight?" I said, "Fuck yeah." I said, "Yeah." I said, "We'll have mom manage you against me at Six Flags." And he said, "And if I win, I get 5 minutes with you." And that's what led to Lawler getting disqualified for trying to pile drive me. That all led up to that. And I said, "Yeah." I said, so I called mom thinking mom's going to jump all over this. Mom says, "Well, Kenny, you know I got bingo tonight." I said, "Fuck bingo. God damn, Mom. Jerry the King Lawler has just asked you to manage him." I said, "There's going to be between 3,000 and 5,000 people at Six Flags tonight. Once they find out Lawler is going to be there again, it might even be better." "No, Mom, you're managing Jerry Lawler." It's, "Well, Kenny, I only get to go to bingo once a week." I said, "You go every fucking week. How many times have you managed Jerry the King Lawler?" "Well, what am I going to do?" "Probably nothing, Mom. You will just stand there and do what you're told." So that's when Lawler took me over to the ropes and had her slap me, and she wasn't hitting me hard enough. Dean had to go over and motivate her to hit me harder. So she had to hit me like 4 times because she didn't want to hurt me. So, but I had to beg her to take that spot to manage Lawler because she didn't want to miss bingo. So what she did, she called all of her bingo friends, and they were more excited for her than she was. So they all came to bingo, blew off bingo to come watch her manage Lawler against me. And then when Mom come out, she got a pop bigger than what Bill Dundee would have got. So and by the way, Kenny, I saw a little old lady out front tonight that was trying to get into the park. She couldn't get in. She said her son had her thrown out. He says, "Well, turns out I got a little stroke around here." A little old lady in the back, if you wouldn't mind coming out. And when Mom stepped out, that crowd went nuts. And I'm going, "God damn, Lawler has a pretty good idea here." So, and then Mom comes out. She don't know what to do. She's getting high-fived by the fans. Her bingo buddies are coming down high-fiving her. And she's like, "Well, goddamn, this is kind of cool." So she kind of ate it up once she got out there. And then Lawler stands her by her. He cuts a promo on me about what he's going to do to me. And anybody that would kick his mother out of an amusement park, for crying out loud, so it was all Lawler's idea. And so I don't know how much we smartened her up, but she wanted to go to bingo. She didn't want to miss bingo night.
She only gets to do it once a week, huh?
Yeah, I only get to go once a week. Sometimes you go 3 times a week. Sometimes you go Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. You ain't going to fucking bingo tonight. You're managing Jerry Lawler. I had to bully her into managing Jerry Lawler. So, and thank God we got a couple of pictures and it is on video too. There is a Six Flags video floating around where Mom doesn't get on camera a whole lot, but she is on camera slapping me. So that was kind of cool.
Hey, that's a money shot right there.
What's that?
Money shot.
Yeah.
Vito was right. The beginning class that he was help teaching and whatnot, there was Charles.
Checking to see if we got any other donations here. Your audio is cutting out quite a bit there, boss.
Yeah,
I was about to say, I'm not the only one seeing this, am I?
freezing.
I say Vito was right. Opening class. Vivacious Charles.
Yeah, it's still freezing up there, Carl.
So
I know these hostages situations can get a little rough. We certainly understand what you're being put through over there.
Well, if the light starts flickering, I'm in deep shit.
Yeah, we will know then that the shit is on. Lemonhead's in the house today, and Lemonhead, he's Canadian, right? Isn't he from Canada?
Yes, he is.
The Lemonhead is in here. Good to see you, Lemonhead. And no, that was funny, and thank you so much for your donation, man. You made this certainly, because I, number one, hadn't really planned on doing a show tonight because we thought there'd be a lot of sports to go up head to head with. And then when the news came out about Charles today, and I kept thinking no, and then I said, you know what, because I kept telling Nate and Blackhawk Jebediah to do a tribute to him tonight. So, do you have any pictures of him? I said, believe it or not, I don't. And they went on at 7:00. I didn't want to go head to head with them on their debut show tonight, and because I thought about maybe going on early. And then I said, well, you know what? I'll just go on at 9:45, and let's pay a little tribute to him, and then we can make a few dollars to help some people. Fucking Charles would have been all over that because Charles, like I said, just a fucking good guy, man. Just a fucking good.
That's against the Geneva Convention, Lemonhead. There.
So Carl, you had mentioned to me here a while back. You had some car repairs or truck repairs you were involved in on. How's all that going? How's your life coming along? That bad, huh? Yeah, the interrogations are picking up over there.
Well,
you hear me?
Apparently, they threatened him with the Jim Cornette experience, and so
the drive-through at least.
I thought that was against the Geneva Convention that they are not allowed.
I think CM Punk does it for pleasure, which blows me away.
Wow.
Some of them are masochists.
Some are.
Hello.
Carl, you are so spotty. I hate to do this to you, but I think we're going to need to let you go. We can't get a solid signal from you.
Yeah, it's coming through pretty
How's
quick.
that?
We really appreciate you coming in and telling the stories. We really appreciate that. Billy Sellers has made a $30 pledge on, I think, this coming Tuesday, I think he said. So thank you, Billy. We appreciate that. And thank you, Eric, so much for what you did tonight. Lemonhead getting in here a little late. Vito, when he gets done with a penny, it looks the same way on both sides when he's done with it. So we're not going to ask Vito for any money. Carl probably knows. Carl
never seen a fingerprint on a penny before, but there you go.
Yeah, but if you see one of Vito's pennies, there'll be fingerprints on it. So yeah, we still got about 55 of you in here. So guys, if there was ever a night, if you had a few bucks to help our people out in honor of Charles, like I said, I told you I wasn't going to beg for money. Unfortunately, I didn't have to because many of you were just all over it tonight helping us out. And in honor of Vivacious Charles, man, just he would love what you all are doing because he was a very nice and very charitable young man himself. And if he didn't have the money, he'd give you his time. He'd give you his time. And as a matter of fact, I remember asking a famous wrestler today that wanted a copy, very famous wrestler, used to be. He wanted a copy of the Mooch's book. And I said, well, the Mooch has asked people to make a $60. Well, I'm not going to donate no money. I'm not a charitable man. I said, well, that's rather obvious. I said, but that's what it takes to get
$30 on Amazon, buddy.
Yeah, that's what it takes to get the book. So you can go on Amazon and get your non-autographed version for $30. Yeah, just send me one. So he wanted me this rich former WWE star, Memphis star, countless stars all over the world, wanted me to forfeit $60 so he could read the book for free. So
the rich are the cheapest.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
How else do you think they got rich?
Exactly.
Charles
might explain why I'm not too. So
there you go.
It's like Mark Cuban said the other day. I was watching a short video with Mark Cuban, the former man that got involved with me to help launch John Cena's career. And he talked about when he sold broadcast.com or whatever it was. And he sold it for shares, and he got $2.1 billion or 2 point whatever it was, 2 point something billion dollars in shares. And he said, well, people said, well, how do you know that you sold your shares at the right time? And he said, you don't. He said, that's just the thing about it. He said, but I had nothing. And now I saw a point to where I can sell and make $2.1 billion. How much fucking money do you need? Because he did this 25, 30 years ago, whenever he sold, because he bought the Mavericks 25 years ago. Right. I was with him the first year he owned the Mavericks. And he says, God damn, I got $2.1 billion. How much goddamn money do you need? And he says this, fuck, how much money do you need? I got $2.1 billion. And he says, and had I held on to the shares 6 more weeks, I'd have been totally fucked. I would have got next to nothing. Mm-hmm. So, but he pulled the trigger 6 weeks early. Yeah, he could have made more if he'd hung in there for 5 more weeks. If I'd have stayed 6 more weeks, I was fucked. And so sometimes you got to pull the trigger early. Sometimes you got to pull it early. So, yeah. So what time we got here? 1 hour, 38 minutes.
Pulling it early is a good plan usually.
Well, Worked for you, didn't it?
If your pull-up game is strong.
Apparently,
Worked for you.
apparently not.
People are showing me the 60,000
Right, we have been here an hour and 40 minutes, or at least
and I
Kenny
think
has.
the last donation came
That's
through.
right.
Let me see when that
7
last donation came through. Let's see here. That was Jazzy Jana at 10:08, and it's now 11:23. We haven't had a donation in an hour and 15 minutes. So, well, Carl will get to hang around with us to say good night for the night, because if no one's donated in an hour and 15 minutes, they ain't going to. So, but thanks to all of you that did. Go ahead.
Charles.
Go ahead.
But
Is it okay if I tell you one more story about Charles?
Yeah, go right ahead. Go right ahead. Yeah.
He had a little S10. Now, when he first started wrestling, me and him used to paint our face up. I was Lord Jurassic, which Jay affectionately named me as Lord Get Your Ass Kicked. He was the Kentucky Kid.
Okay.
He's driving. He's got Arliss T. McGuire. If you
Okay.
ever Arliss when he was young, if you gave him a tennis racket and some glasses and a wild
Did
suit,
like Cornette, huh?
Cornette.
All right. Poor
And-
guy.
And here I bent all hunched over in the passenger side, and we're coming across the bridge to go to Danny's.
Okay.
Well, I just happened to slowly turn and look, and there's this little old man and little old lady. And he looked at me, and he thought he seen death itself looking at him.
Okay.
His wife came over, and she's smiling, and she's waving, and he said, then Arliss looked over and waved, and Charles looked over and waved. He must have thought the friggin' circus was in town. But next thing his window started going up. He thought we was going to jump in the car and attack him, I think.
Oh shit! That would have not been good. That would have not been good. But
like I said, Charles was a healthy man. He was and all the stuff that he went through, 2 bouts of cancer, and
man,
he survived a bout of sepsis last year.
yeah. God damn, I didn't even know about that. Shit.
Jesus Christ.
And when people say, Kenny, why are you an atheist? Shit like this. I mean, how can you let something like this? Bob's wife was a fucking saint from everything I've heard. She had to have been. She married Bob. And then you got people like Charles and Paul Bear and that just leave us way too early. It's just such fucking good. Well, God needed them. Well, we need them here too. We get a lot more good done here. So
when John called me and told me we lost Charles, that was the hardest kick in the nuts I ever took.
Yeah. Please give my love to Cheyenne. I did not even know he had a daughter.
Yes.
It just never came up. Cheyenne's a beautiful name. I'm sure she's a beautiful kid. How old is Cheyenne? I guess in her 20s. I guess in her 20s, I guess, or close to it. If Vivacious was 50.
97 till now, because she was born the second week that me and him were wrestling training.
So
94,
about 27 years old then, give or take. Yeah.
8 years old.
Yeah. Well, if you have a picture of her, or she wants to meet me on Facebook or something, and if she wants to come on the show and tell some stories, who better to tell them, right? And tell her she's welcome anytime.
And that part.
Well, I'm sure it's awfully hard for her to do it now. Tonight wouldn't be the night, but sometime down the road, if she ever wants to pay tribute to her father, you tell her she's always welcome here.
Yes, sir, I will.
Tonight would not have been the night for sure, but sometime down the road, we'd love to have her. And I'm just disappointed I never got to meet her because I'm sure she's a good kid. I have no doubt about that.
Aces.
Yeah. Well, please give her my love, and just have her watch this show if she wants to see how much Charles meant to those that knew him, with me and Vito, and there's going to be Mark Henry chiming in like he was just shocked. And,
but yeah, I mean, me and him was tighter than 2 peas in the pod.
Yeah. Well, anybody that knew him, please send my love, this show's love, and let them know how much people in here thought of him. And I'm sure we haven't heard the last or said the last. And I know the funeral is going to be coming up pretty soon. and going to get a military star funeral. He was also in the Navy, if that wasn't enough for you guys, a cop and a Navy guy. Yeah.
What he worked over there by Americana Apartments at that base right there. He was Navy.
Yeah.
He was a corrections officer, and
Yeah.
you couldn't ask for a better guy.
No, not from what anybody's told me. And like I said, I knew him from my first days at Ohio Valley Wrestling, and he was just always a class act. And we stayed close even when I retired. I mean, we just always stayed in touch with each other and gotten a kick out of each other's videos. And I hope they don't take his Instagram account down, because I'm sure I'm going to be checking it out from time to time.
I used to tease him and tell him he was the welcoming committee of OVW.
He pretty much was. I know Danny said I was the face of the company, but he was definitely the welcoming committee, without a doubt. Yes. Probably a lot easier to get along with than I was, too. So.
You was always good to me. I ain't never had nothing wrong with you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. That must have been because you didn't get on my bad side.
No.
No, I got along with pretty much everybody except Brock Lesnar and CM Punk from time to time. But they have even sent shout outs in recent years. I don't know about Punk now that he's aligned with Cornette again, but what do you do? All right, my friend. Well, I appreciate you being here. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. No post show tonight because I got doggies that are going to be dying to get out of here because I didn't let them out before the show, and I'm shocked they haven't been bugging me during the show. But we'll be back.
Thank you for being on, King.
No, not at all.
Happy to see you later. Thank you for
happy to have you. Happy to have Vito and everybody that participated tonight and those that chimed in with stories in here. We'll be back Tuesday night, 9:05 p.m. Eastern time. So until Tuesday night, I'm the Star Maker for